There we go. It popped up. All right. Let me get all set up here. Had to move the camera around. Things are a little bit funky. Hello, Miss Kelly. Funky monkey. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Hello, everybody. Do the opposite of what
JRL?
RLJ, whatever, yeah. Come on in, everybody. Come on. Yes, welcome everybody. Welcome, and hello.
Hope you're all having a wonderful night.
Yes. We'll give everybody a couple minutes to hop on over. Let everyone get in here and get comfortable. Throw some cilantro around.
You have really weird food references, dude. Like, really weird.
What do I do that's not weird?
Yeah, everything about you is weird.
I know.
It's true.
Like, okay, the hard part isn't naming weird things I do. The hard part is naming normal things I do.
True.
Just try and think of one. You literally can't.
I can't.
Oh, yes. I just do everything uncommon, man, and some people can handle it and some people can't, you know? Like yesterday's video. I mean, we just have a couple trolls too, though. We have a couple hate watchers that watch our stuff that like to make it seem like, oh my gosh, he is so abusive to Malia. Can you see he talked over her? I can just imagine with the cameras off, he must be beating her up. Like, just ridiculous stuff like that. It's honestly comical and makes me laugh, and it's super entertaining. But I can tell that they're super frustrated for real. It's a little bit funny, but oh gosh, look, this is a love-hate relationship, right? Because when it's like this, I know it looks good on the status. I agree, exactly, Heather. And to be honest, I don't ever try to offend anybody, but it's really offensive, okay? Looking at the flip side, it's really offensive when people try and step up to white knight, because what they're doing is they're falling into those traditional roles of like, oh, because Malia's a woman, she needs help and can't handle this mad fool over here, when that's not the case. Like, Malia is more than capable of shutting me down when I need to be shut down on her own. You know what I mean? To where you don't have to have people like, oh, helpless Malia, look at, he just always talks over her and she can't control him, and how abusive he is. Like, oh, come on. Some people aren't joking. But that's I've gotten that stuff my whole life, though. We've had in-depth conversations about this because I've been in sales. You guys know I've been in sales is my whole life, literally my entire career. It has been some form of sales, okay? I've been in B2C sales, B2B sales, B2E, enterprise sales, all kinds of sales. And some people out there can't handle, I don't know if it's because I speak confidently, I don't know, but some people take how I speak aggressive, like I'm coming at them aggressively. So,
yeah, there's a lot of people who joke, but oh, Plumber said, I call you abusive all the time, and though I really mean it, I thought I was the only one.
Yeah. No, you can tell the people who say it jokingly. I'll even joke about it, obviously, because it's super funny. But there are some people out there that are like, take it to the extreme, man, to where I honestly feel bad for them, where I'm like, "Man, you really gotta take a chill pill." If you're looking at me and Malia's conversation, like, we've never even had a fight, an argument on here, you know what I mean? So, like, I can only imagine what if that is triggering, opening their front door must be triggering. You know what I mean? It
I
makes me
mean,
feel nervous for people a little bit.
people are easily triggered. It's just like how you will let that how you let that continue to affect you. Like, cause I get triggered sometimes listening to people talk and I'm like annoyed
Oh, for
and
sure.
I'll
Human.
just click off or take a break or think about it, process it and be like, okay, what's going on in me that's triggering me? You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Cause it's not about them. It's about me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, I think some people just don't have those skills built into them, you know? We're all parented different or have different life experiences, different learning experiences. It is what it is. I mean, I don't blame anybody for it. They're just somewhere different on their path in life, you know?
No, I look, I agree with you 100%, 100%. That's why I'm saying what I'm saying, and I don't come off sideways at people in comments because I could totally go that direction, you know, and I try really hard to not do that. Um, but yeah, it just makes me feel bad for those people a lot of times because if you're letting our conversations and debates on here get you worked up like that, oh man, man. I
Um,
after I said that, I literally thought that. I was like, well, actually, the world is kinda triggering,
it
so
is.
anybody opening the front door.
No, for real. And stunt brat, I saw your comment about being a stunt woman. That's amazing. That's so cool.
Who is?
I was a stunt brat right
Oh,
here.
no
Yeah,
way.
for 20
What?
for 20 years.
That
That's
is
super
incredible.
cool. I actually started following this stunt woman on TikTok. And she is incredible. Like some of the stuff she can do with her body. And she was trying to teach I think she was working with a gymnast where they were like kind of doing a contest of like what they could do with their bodies because they're
Yeah,
trained differently.
sure.
And it was super entertaining.
Yeah, one is trained, like, to keep their body safe, and the other one
Yeah.
is, like, trained to, do everything, like, by the book, essentially perfect,
Yeah.
without putting your body first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect posture, perfect form.
Execution. Yep, yep, yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, if you want to do the intro real quick, I forgot to grab a water and I have to take this Dayquil. Oh, red pill or blue pill?
Do the intro? I totally space out every time you do it. I don't even know what you
All
say.
right, I'll do the intro real quick and then
My mind just goes blank when I hear you talk.
you can just say hello to everyone. Okay. So, welcome everybody to the True Crime Talk Show brought to you by Thought Riot Podcast. My name is Brendan.
I'm Malia, and welcome to the show.
Yes, welcome, welcome. And you can find us on every major podcast platform out there, all of them, all across the world, internationally, not internationally, in your backyard, in your, I don't know, I can't think of anything else. But our main podcast that you can find us at is Thought Riot Podcast, the true crime and criminal culture podcast. And this is our live version of that, called The True Crime Talk Show, the one and only. You won't find another one like us out there. And welcome to the show. Make sure if you're not on any of our social medias, you should get on them. If you are watching us on YouTube and you don't get notifications like a lot of content creators out there and a lot of different people out there, then you should do one of two things. You should join our Patreon. So it's patreon.com/Thought Riot Podcast, or you should join our Discord. Now, with Discord, if you are not Discord friendly or know what Discord is, you have to have a specific invite to join our Discord. And certain membership levels actually get invites to private conversations where we try really hard to focus on and respond in there and talk directly with people in the Discord areas. I know we have a couple people that we need to add. So if you're one of those people and you are a level 3, I'm sorry, a level 4 or 5. We have a few different level 4 and 5 people. You should be seeing your invite come out. I'm gonna try getting in contact with you either through Patreon or YouTube to get that special invite sent out there. But just to get in the general conversation and chat where we give notifications and updates and continue the conversation in Discord, let me go ahead and post that now. Never expire, maximum users, unlimited, generate, copy, and hang on here.
Plumbing. I tried to message you in Discord, but
Paste.
I think we have multiple plumbers in
Um,
our
yeah,
Discord.
we do. We have like 2 plumbers in our Discord, or 3 actually. I think we have 3 plumbers
I'm
in
like,
the
which one's
Discord.
the
So,
plumber?
if you are one of those levels and you never got the special invite, it could mean that you might be level 1 or 2 and not a 3 or 4, or maybe it's 4 or 5. I need to verify that, but I just wanted to give a comment to that because I saw a few people in there when we were coming back from the holiday season and we had been totally unplugged. All of our electronics were unplugged while we were moving everything in here, changing the background, getting the lights installed, getting everything ready for what's to come. And I missed that. And I felt really bad about it because we take that stuff very serious. And I do want to say something too that Heather pointed out. So, like any content creators out there, there's people who like us, people who don't. And some of those things that could happen that we've seen along the road is just, oh, never mind. I won't get into that. It's just drama. It's not worth it. But one thing that Heather said is to make sure you check your subscribe button, whether you're a member or a subscriber, and just verify that. There's sometimes in YouTube where they will drop your subscription or membership status, and people don't really get any update or alert why. But definitely check that. And throughout the podcast, not podcast, throughout the talk show, I will be posting our social media links. So I just posted the Discord, which is one of the more important ones, and the Patreon. Those are really the 2 that we prioritize to get out notifications to. So we do have a free tier Patreon, but we also have up to a level 5, like I was saying. So join that free tier if you just want some notifications. And if you're interested in doing more, awesome. But you don't need to. We'd appreciate it if you do, though. Yeah, I think that's it. And I need to go grab a water to take my red pill and be right back. Good.
Yeah. Victorine, I'm posting the membership link right now. It should take you to the membership page of our YouTube, and hopefully that can help you check. Thank you guys in the chat for liking the stream. It really helps. YouTube is so weird sometimes, isn't it? How it unsubscribes people. It's really strange. All right. Polls. I love the polls, but I don't even know the most recent one that Brendan has posted. I don't know if he's gonna want me going into it. He might plan to go into it. Idaho 4 case study. Do you believe a lack of evidence in the entrance exit? Whoa. What's happening? Your phone is ringing. Are you gonna go over the poll that you posted 2 hours ago? There's only 73 votes on the most recent poll in the community tab, guys. Go vote if you haven't yet. It's, do you believe a lack of evidence in the entrance exit at 1122 King Road is intentional? Share your opinions.
What is that?
I don't know. Are you gonna call it back? Did they leave a voicemail? What does it say?
It's
It's about extreme weather.
yeah, that's all. Yep, just because we're in the path for extreme weather. But all right. But what were you saying?
About the poll, because there's only 73 votes. I was just telling everybody to look and vote if you haven't yet. And I was also asking you if you planned on going over it tonight. Because
I mean,
you have
yeah,
been.
we can go over that. We weren't really sharing this tab, so I don't know if anyone was seeing it, but the Idaho 4 case study, which we posted right before and is tied to the video that we just posted. So Idaho 4 case study. Do you believe a lack of evidence in the entrance or exit at 1122 King Road is intentional? Share your opinion. So if you haven't checked this out yet, make sure you do. And for anybody watching on here, normally one of the things that we do is we do a poll before our lives, and just to get an understanding of where the community is, because we try really hard here at Thought Riot Podcast to stay as objectively possible. All right. And the one way to do that is to take into account statistical data based on the community and people's opinions and things like that, and use that as a direction, as a talking point. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, so let's just go into what we'll talk about the poll towards the end of the stream, give people time to fill it out. Let's go back over, because I know some people had questions during the live. Some people had said, I think what my big question was that, well, okay, the front door was opened. Somebody must have opened it when the commotion went down with the 911 call, or when law enforcement was there, but that's actually not the case.
No, because we have a neighbor's account saying it was open at 8:30 a.m.
Right.
Which is
Right.
way before any of that, which is what throws the whole case off for me. And also, why were they so specific about the address of the Linda Lane apartment that he turned around in front of?
Yeah.
They didn't say the parking lot of this apartment complex. They didn't say that. They gave a specific address.
Yeah. Yeah.
They didn't say it's this address, this parking lot. They
Yeah,
did
for the
not say that.
driving you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. But with the front door, I really wanna that point home, because
Okay.
that was my biggest point of contention with that whole story originally, was that we're basing this idea off of that the front door was open before any of the chaos started at 11:50 or whatever it was. Yeah,
Hours before.
right. So 3 hours before.
Mhm.
Now, okay, so let's just break that down then. What why should we have confidence in this eyewitness account?
Well, for one, what I have also learned since then is Bonnie is right in the chat that there have been several neighbors that said um, that it was open early that morning, that's not just one neighbor, which instantly makes it more credible for
I
me.
agree with you. The second you hear a secondary person that is able to verify a firsthand account, it becomes exponentially more true.
Yeah.
Or
Um,
I'm sorry, believable, not more true. Believable in my opinion.
you also have to ask, what does this person have to gain by lying? What would a neighbor, an unknown neighbor that came out to the news and said, "Hey, I saw the door open at 8:30 AM." What do they have to gain?
Yeah, and that's a great point too
They didn't
because
mention any details about the people in the home. They didn't give any juicy details. They just said, "Hey, the door was open at 8:30 AM."
yes, and that's an incredible point because like you said, this is a member of this community.
Yeah.
Like the only thing they have if they're not telling the truth is to lose. There is no additional gain.
I will scoot over.
Why?
Sorry. I'm always in that corner, and anybody who's watching on TV literally can't see me.
Why? How does it
Because the
work on
chat on
TV?
TV, the chat covers that whole side of the
It
screen.
overlays?
Yeah,
What? What a
yeah.
horrible setup.
That is the way that the TV application works. I don't know why. It's
What a
stupid.
horrible setup.
Yeah, they need to change it for sure.
Oh, man. That is really awful.
So they only
Okay.
get your mug.
I mean, is that so bad?
Up to you.
So, but well, that sucks. I like having elbow space in room. When I think I can't have like
Can't feel confined.
yeah. Otherwise it makes me feel weird. Like it hinders my thinking. Like when things touch my legs, like if I'm sitting under a desk and a desk leg touches my leg and stuff like that, it messes up my train of thought. Yeah, dang abusive desks. Ugh.
You could
But
scoot the camera back a little more, that would help.
I mean, I
So
can't with the new
why have none of the neighbors been identified? That's a question for me too. And how many people in the area of
well,
student housing would be up at 8:30? Well, there are
I
people who aren't students in that area. So it may not be students, and I think there could be students that are up that early.
and to be fair here, okay, if there's anybody that deserves to stay out of the limelight in any case, it would be somebody like a neighbor that doesn't have to do with this case. I'm okay with not naming those people because I know how I manage true crime and investigations, and I don't go out there and annoy people, but that's me and you. There are people out there that will annoy these people and
Yeah.
try and get statements and everything. So I understand not putting their names out there. They were not directly connected to the crime. They did not have anything to do with a suspect or the victims or anything like that. I do not think that their name should have to be out there.
No, I agree with you. I don't think they should have to if they don't want to. I think they should be able to bring information forward and not be named. But in the same respect, it does make it less credible for me when you don't show your face. When it's like anonymous, like, hey, I'm a neighbor. I don't want you to have my name, but here's this information. Like anonymous tips can't be taken as fact.
Of course, well, I mean,
But
what can be taken as fact, and that's what kind of what we were talking about last night. And I understand that's out there and ridiculous statement to make, but really, when we're trying to look at something that's objective or subjective, just basing it off of like what we were talking about yesterday, even something like a PCA, that is a subjective opinion based on their experience of the investigation. So is it any more or less truthful or honest? I would say that statistically, people who make eyewitness accounts or statements or firsthand accounts or whatever, and stay anonymous, they are traditionally way less believable, like straight up way less believable. However, when you know it's a neighbor and they live right by the crime scene, that, in my opinion, one, I understand why they want to stay anonymous. Okay. So that makes
yeah,
them at least a little bit more believable than somebody calling into like a mainstream media show and being like, hey, ha ha ha, I heard that Bryan Kohberger told his sister that he was guilty. You know what I mean? Like something stupid like that. Okay, well, they're a neighbor, live in the area, and the only thing that they have to gain is a suspect being caught and their surroundings more safe.
Right,
You
right,
know?
exactly. And Um, gosh, what was I gonna say? It literally left my head that fast. I was thinking of it this whole time and then it just was gone.
I agree with you, Karma, that that is taken to the extreme, but it is true. Just because it's extreme doesn't mean it's not true. That nothing technically can be taken or known as fact except from what you yourself has experienced and or seen. I agree with you, but that is the most facty kind of fact, right? Jokingly here. But there are other facts that are have a much higher percentage and likelihood of being true, similar to an example of that would be video footage, right? Now, there are ways to manipulate video footage. Also, we saw it in the Dr. Moore case where uh, ISP officer Tolson very corruptly change the timestamps on a video footage. Therefore, that's no longer a believable video. You know what I mean? But I would say that video is probably one of the most believable pieces of evidence out there traditionally.
Yeah, I agree with you. But going back to the door, what did you say you wanted to hit home about it again?
Just that we're talking about a completely separate time before the 911 call,
Okay,
after the
okay.
crime time. You know
Now,
what I mean?
I did see somebody I saw thank you, Bonnie, for putting that for writing that out so people know how to link their phone to their TV to make it easier to interact with the stream.
What'd she say? Oh, right there.
Yeah, it's on the I highlighted it on the screen so everybody can see, so if you are watching on your TV, it's
Yeah, so and I'll say it real quick. When you're on YouTube on your TV, you have to go to settings and link device with code, and you hit the same thing at the very upper right-hand corner like a TV screen looking thing on your phone. Okay, yeah, for like almost like a screen share. That is awesome. I appreciate that. I haven't checked out Lana's live today. I'm still trying to get caught up, you guys. So, but I did start reading some of the messages you sent me, Heather, and I appreciate that and super interesting stuff. And it corrected some of the information I have. I haven't got through everything yet because you sent some to me on like my personal account, which no problem. But I still have editing to do, and we have a couple things I want to get. I want to get our set up and running because it's straight up like a movie set. It's going to be so amazing. But anyways,
like a talk show set, yeah. Um, but I wanted to say we have heard from a couple of the neighbors, and
no way.
both of them
No way.
my kids are like, "Hey, dad, is that guy a
I feel
salesman?"
I feel like you're trolling me.
He probably is. But, we have heard from a couple of neighbors. We have Harsh in on Harsh, and then we have the other guy, I can't remember his name, but both of them were accused of being the killer. So can you blame any other neighbor for not wanting to come forward when the only two you've seen all over mainstream media have been accused of
I
being the killer?
Now, do you think that was intentionally? Okay, let's go tin hat here for a minute. Do you think that was intentional to create a scenario to where people in the area don't want to come forward? Do you get me? For the people out there, for the part of the true crime community and people that are interested in this case that believe that they are trying to control the narrative. By they, we're talking about local police or FBI or whatever, but they're trying to control the narrative. And one risky thing for controlling a narrative is for having people that are locally and around that area speaking out. So what's a way to stop that or reduce that from happening? That is creating an uncomfortable situation for them. So every time someone spoke up, they immediately said, well, this person's probably the killer. That person's probably the killer. So then it is like social accountability, and nobody else wants to speak up.
Maybe.
It's smart.
So, I'm
It's
curious,
smart.
when is the soonest time we've seen that one of these neighbors came out and was accused? I'm curious how early into the crime that first initially happened and who was first.
It was probably right after everyone saw Enan Harsh talk because Enan Harsh comes off shady, dude, and I'm
Have you
not
seen the other guy though?
I haven't. And maybe I have, and I'm just not remembering it correctly, but I know that the first time I ever watched Enan Harsh, I was like, "What, really? Are we being serious?" You know, I do think this guy could be the killer based off behavioral traits, you know, then I reel it back in and let's get logical here, but yeah.
Jeremy first week and Enan comes later. I thought Enan was later. I just wasn't sure when, and I forgot his name, but Jeremy, I didn't know when he first came out and when people first started talking about him.
Yes, yes, yes.
So Jeremy comes first, and it's literally in the first week that he comes out and starts being people start looking at him.
Interesting, right?
Yeah. 'Cause
Interesting.
this neighbor account comes out December 9th, right? That's
Yeah.
what I said?
And And this is a very common tactic too. I think a lot of people forget, like, these are proven tactics, you guys. That's probably how someone like myself or yourself know about them because we've seen tactics like these used before, right? If you want to get someone to be quiet without directly attacking someone, then you just control the narrative of that someone, of that person, which then reduces their it reduces their credibility to zero. If somebody has zero credibility, then they can say whatever they want, but without credibility, what does it matter? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the same kind of it's the same kind of thing that trolls use in the true crime community. I think that which we just talked about this, right? You have people that jokingly, right? You have these people that come forward and try and say horrible things like, "Oh my gosh, that guy must abuse her," whatever. It's probably because these people are just trying to cause some kind of harm or have some kind of ulterior motive, or they're another content creator, or they get off by seeing people fail. So what they do is they try and reduce your credibility by making it look like you're doing something that would seem socially unacceptable, which I understand it's a joking topic, but I'm just saying, like, as an example, a real life example where you see that where people might encounter that, except in away from like the Idaho 4 case, where a lot of us that are interested in it wouldn't encounter that.
Yeah, for sure. And it
So
was it was December 8th, not 9th, but
that he came out.
whoever said the door was open.
Oh, so that was real early on. So that makes it more believable.
I mean, December 8th.
Yeah,
Yeah.
within the first month.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
I said that in the video.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure you did. I'm sure I forgot, but it just dawned on me how early that was.
Yeah. It's pretty early. I wanted to see if I could find an interview with like a neighbor talking about it. If there is a interview with a neighbor actually talking on camera.
I
'Cause
I
there
would
are
be stoked to see that.
there are neighbors who did interviews on camera, but I don't know if any of them talked about the door being open.
Yeah, CH said 3 weeks later isn't early in
I
my
don't feel like it
opinion.
is.
I'm meaning what it is to where, okay, early in an investigation, they prioritize information coming in, right? And a neighbor nearby that saw something about a door but didn't see a person, didn't see any details that could really change the direction of a case wouldn't be a high priority of information. So it might fall through the cracks, right? And that kind of information is the kind of information that you look for when a case starts slowing down or you don't have a lot of leads. So then it might get more attention in week 2 or week 3. So when I'm thinking early, I'm thinking, okay, well, this isn't past the point, because I feel like a lot of investigations have a life cycle where that first month is critical. They are like trying to find names, trying to find people, trying to get eyewitness accounts of people who saw the crime or saw something that pertained directly with that crime. And they're trying to lock in the who, what, where, and why. And I feel like this could slip through the cracks a little bit. You know what I mean?
Could this slip through the cracks? I feel like, I mean, why did they go to the
I
media?
mean, they just
Did they
saw a
go
front door open.
Yeah, but if I was a neighbor and heard about all of this going on, if I saw the door open, I feel like I would say something.
Switch it to live.
Oh.
Um, so okay. Remember though, we talked about this last night where a lack of information doesn't make it provable or untrue. So
Yeah.
just because they went to mainstream media doesn't mean that they didn't tell the police.
So they might have told the police and then just came out to the media 3 weeks later because it hadn't been solved yet and they wanted help from the public?
Or the media approached them and they didn't come forward at
Okay.
all.
Yeah, and CH said they canvassed the area twice at by this point. And yeah, I believe that's true. So
The
they could have
police did?
yeah,
Yeah.
So they probably did tell the police,
I
and you're right. The media may have approached them.
Right, because one thing that I find with people is all people are lazy, and I'm not meaning that in like a jerk way. I'm meaning none of us, myself included, like to go out of my way. I like when things are convenient, right? So am I the type of person where if I saw a front door, would I literally put feet to the street and start hitting those dials and knuckling that dial to try and get in contact with the mainstream media to make my little bit of information about a front door being open heard? No way. But if somebody approached me from mainstream media and was like, "Hey, did you happen to see anything at all?" And I'm like, "No, I didn't see anything." Like, anything, any detail. What about a week earlier? No, I didn't see anything. Okay, well, what about like you didn't see anything funny from, what time did you go to work? Oh, you went to work at 8 a.m. Okay, well, you didn't see anything at 8 a.m. when you left for work that day. Oh, wait, you know what? Actually, I did see the front door open, but I didn't see anything else. An untrained person, that neighbor might think, well, I've seen their front door open before. It's a party house. You don't make those connections. But then you have someone in front of you saying, well, that's a big deal.
Oh yeah,
That's a
like
big deal.
it didn't strike them at first because it's not super outside of the norm. Like this is
Right.
a party house, it's always crazy over here, and you didn't really register it in your brain until somebody started digging and
Exactly.
questioning.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, because it's easy to say in retrospect, like that should have stood out to you, but maybe not in everyday life.
Yep, and that just again goes back to my belief in people that people always believe they're doing the right thing, always think they're doing the right thing, the positive thing. So in that situation, more than likely, if it didn't come forward right away, it wasn't with the intention of causing harm, but more likely it was an honest mistake or unrealization of how important that information could be.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So but yes, like you're saying, Karma, eyewitness accounts are so, so unreliable. And that's directly tied to the fact that our own memories are so ridiculously unreliable. Um, the day that comes where I'm going to be able to save my memories on a disc is going to be like, oh, you know what I mean? For real. I'm not joking. Because how do you even know if what you're remembering is the truth? In a game of telephone,
True.
when you're passing that information on, you're passing it on honest, okay? From what you believe you heard, and you're passing it on honestly. But when the first person hears the last person, and it is night and day different, everybody did the best that they could to pass that information along. but it came out different. So how do you know that your own memories are believable? You know? If that's not like a mind twist for you, you know? You
Okay.
don't know. You don't. Right, right, and that goes back to, who was it? I'm sorry, whoever said it in the beginning, I'm sorry, that's how bad my memory is, that everything is subjective. All information is subjective unless you've seen it yourself, right? Well, that could go even as far as all information is subjective and questionable.
Hmm.
It's
Um,
it's hard to it's hard to say.
yeah, CH, I didn't see that video come through. I just thought I'd let you know because you said you were gonna send it. But, um, anyway, moving on.
Yeah, moving on. Okay, so, um, now that we have set that the door was open, we have an eyewitness who says the door was open 3 hours before the 911 call, okay? There's a couple things that come to mind there that I wanna dig into. The first one, that adds weight to well, it could not, depending on how you're looking at it, depending on your subjectivity, right? Um, that adds weight to the possibility that the roommates were asleep and not actively up in the house.
Do you think it do you think it actually adds weight, or do you think there's a possibility, like other people were saying, that maybe they weren't home? They left.
My first thought was that it added weight to that, okay? But then when I started critically thinking the topic, then I started thinking, does it really? Exactly like you said. Does it even prove that they were home? Does it mean that they weren't in there and cleaning and had the doors open because cleaning chemicals smell? Does it, you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of things that could be going on in a house with the front door open, especially in that house where the crimes itself were on floor 2 and 3, not floor 1, and not to mention floor 1 doesn't even have visibility into the core part of the house. It only has a direct view of the wall with a staircase to the left. Anything could be going on still, but we know that the heat was pumping in there. Is that an explanation to the heat at least? You know
Maybe,
what I mean?
maybe, or does it I mean, if the allegations that they were texting during the crime is true, then did they, after the crime and after Dylan saw what she saw, did they fall asleep? Like, does it add weight to them being drunk and then falling asleep afterwards and then not calling 911 till later?
Hmm. It could. I think it really, really could. And I think because I'm always looking for evidence, something that I know is true. We know that that house was pumping heat. Okay, there's been multiple statements about that. Of course, it's not anywhere in the court documents, but a lot of the court document data is flawed in itself, right? So we need to look elsewhere. We need to look at other options and other areas.
Where did you hear the heat was pumping, though?
Multiple areas. I know when we first talked about this a few weeks ago, we brought it up and looked into it. There were some people that said that isn't the case. But I need to pull that information up again. I don't have a receipt with me, okay? So I'm just going down this idea because I believe that it was super hot in there based off the information that I read when we first started looking into this. Not to mention when you're looking at like pictures of the house, there is a substantial amount of heat coming out the windows, like steam coming out the windows. And they have all the doors open and everything like that. So if the thermostat is somewhere near a front door, that could explain why that house was so hot. But here's a contradicting remark to what I'm saying right now, though, is that both the surviving roommates claim they were in their rooms with their doors shut.
Mhm.
How would you stay asleep with a house that is pumping like 85, 90 degrees? Because the front door's open and the back door's open.
What's the back door left open?
Yeah.
Where does it say that?
Uh, you're asking for receipts that I can't pull up right now. I didn't bring any of that with me.
Okay.
So asking me where something is said, I don't have that with me right now. I'm more focusing on the idea and theory,
Yeah, so
not proving
I
it.
don't know how okay, I think I could sleep through the night if it was cold and I was under blankets.
Me
I
too.
don't think I would wake up to cold unless it was bitter temperatures, you know what I mean? Like, it's dropping down to 20 in there or lower. Now, if it is hot and I am sweating, you
Yep.
bet your butt I'm waking up
Right
because
away,
that is
dude.
so uncomfortable.
I
Sleeping
know.
under blankets and it's winter, so you're probably gonna wanna be bundled up. Sleeping under blankets and it's, like, really hot in there and yeah, no way. And
And their doors were shut.
the human body yeah, and their doors are shut,
So
so
their
it's
rooms would
containing
hold
the
the
heat.
heat, but
Yeah,
not the rest of the house.
right. So the human body sleeps better in colder temperatures. Like, if you wanna sleep
Truth.
better,
Yep.
lower the temperature in your house.
Yep.
That's I've seen research on it. It's absolutely true, and it's the same for everybody
Yes. Yes.
because our body actually gets colder at night, and when the temperature gets too high, our body can't do all the functions that it does.
Yeah, we go into a human, wait, what's it called that bears do? Hibernation.
Yeah,
Yeah,
basically.
a human hibernation at night. Yeah,
Yeah, if you go to
absolutely.
sleep with it 90 degrees, if it's 90 degrees when you go to sleep, it may be uncomfortable, but you get used to it and you sleep through it.
There was
But if it's not that hot when you go to sleep and then you wake up to it being that hot, like,
It's awful. I'll tell you, there was one time that I went camping in a tent, you guys, and, like, don't let this beard fool you. I am a baby when it comes to the outside. Like you're not going to find me tenting it in the woods. I'm not a woods kind of guy. Like you got a motorhome, you got a trailer, cool, let's go. But okay, I'll get dirty on a dirt bike all day long, dude. You wouldn't even see you couldn't tell if I was white, if I was whatever color I was. I'll be filled with dirt. But that's because I have a motorhome or a trailer to go back to. But one time that I went tenting it, okay, it was at Lake Mead, and something happened to our trailer, and we wanted to go out on Lake Mead, so we went tenting it, and it was like 115 degrees in the day, dry heat out there. But at night, it was like in the 90s. So like 91, 92, 93. Nobody could sleep, dude. You couldn't sleep naked just out in the open. We were literally having to go dump our towels in ice chests and put cold towels on us to be able to even sleep at all.
ew.
Yeah. So the heat is awful. Like absolutely awful when it comes to sleeping. Horrible.
Yeah, that does
It
sound
was
miserable.
miserable.
Ew.
Yeah, yeah, it was so miserable that after that first night, we were like, "You know what? We're just gonna make the 40-minute drive to a hotel every morning," because we had our boat. We had a bigger boat. We didn't wanna launch it twice, so, it had a slip, so, like, once you put it in the water, it stays in the water as long as you're out there, whatever, so we just made that drive instead of being close, man, but, oh,
Yeah, so I mean, I think regardless, a drastic temperature change is something that would wake somebody up.
agreed. But like you said, I don't think if it went cold. I think if it went cold, you'd stay asleep. I really
I
do.
think it depends on the person a little bit because I know I get cold really easy. I get cold really easy, but I don't know,
Like if
like
someone blows on you?
yeah.
Oh,
I hate wind, I hate air moving, I don't like fans, I don't like anything like that. But I've been, like, anemic a lot of my life. That could
Really?
have something to do with it. No, I don't like wind. I hate it.
What?
I hate fans.
Oh, man.
I don't like sleeping with fans on, it's horrible.
No, that's
I just
great.
cover with blankets so I can't feel it.
I mean, girls don't fart, so I guess you don't have to deal with that, but that would be a problem for most men, you know?
Okay.
So, alright. Does the information that we have so far
But I think that getting cold, I don't think I'd wake up unless it was pretty drastic. If I'm cozy in a blanket, it would have to be really freaking cold for me to wake up, I think.
yeah,
But anyway, go ahead.
I don't think I've ever slept. I was sitting here trying to think if I've ever slept, like, outside in the cold,
And woke up because you were too cold? Have you ever woke up because you were too cold?
when I was way young, I remember when I was a really crazy sleeper and I've kicked the blanket off me and I used to sleep naked for years and years. So there were a couple times where I woke up cold because I kicked the blanket off me, and my parents sleep with their house super cold. So, um, but okay,
Oh, that's cool, Joe Moms. Yeah.
does this help us with all the information that we have so far? And I didn't get to say this, I meant to, but shout out to Plumbing Explained for renewing membership. That sucks that for whatever reason it didn't renew, but we appreciate you and huge shout out
Mm.
for the renewal.
You are one of us.
Well, yeah, you are a thought writer. All you guys are thought writers, not us. We're here to just present what Thought Riot thinks about. And you guys are Thought Riot. So,
I just wanna point out Heather is just as weird as you, and that's a compliment.
what is
She
me?
naked cilantro.
Yeah,
That's just
I'm
that.
I
She just said
agree.
that.
Yep. Yep. Heather is like my cilantro BFF. Absolutely. So, but does any of this information help point to a suspect at all? Does any of this information contradict the PCA and the information we have thus far? Does it add or take away from anything? Does it make the likelihood that Bethany Funk has exculpatory evidence more likely since the front door's right next to her room? Like,
Yes. Yes.
I agree.
It makes it more likely that Bethany did in fact see something and know
I
something
agree.
for 100%. Like 100%. I absolutely now believe that Bethany did indeed see something, because if what Dylan said is true and the suspect left through the back door, somebody went through that front door. And either those girls are lying and they know who was there and they had people come over, or they're being honest and somebody came through the front door and left through the back. That's if their stories even match. We don't even know if they match at all, because what Dylan described does not say this is Kohberger. It doesn't. We know that.
Yeah,
It
yes, and
doesn't.
it's an eyewitness account, which have been talking about this whole time, just how unreliable eyewitness accounts are.
They are unreliable, but I think they are slightly more reliable when it's still fresh in their head and just happened.
Right, but that goes back to what we were saying yesterday, where in those situations, what they should be doing is recording those interviews so that you're not depending on flawed human memory for the eyewitness account to first take place and then wait a year to then say it in court.
Yeah.
That is a horribly flawed
That's why they
plan.
need to record it right away, and that
Everything.
needs to be played in court like you were saying.
Exactly. Dude, you can put
I
them up
hope
on
they do
stage.
that.
They don't. They
I
don't.
hope they will do that.
Oh, I hope they do that more in the future. I hope we continue to progress and evolve our ideas around our justice system and find new ways to make it more reliable, because what I think they should be doing for an eyewitness account is put them up on the stand, watch their initial eyewitness account, the first interview that they had where they gave their eyewitness account for the jury and the defendant and the prosecution, everybody, and then have the prosecution or defense ask them, has anything changed since you gave this account?
Yeah, I mean, I
You
think it's
know?
important that every time cops are going to interview a possible witness, that they have body cam on or set up a camera.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And I was just saying, yay, became a YouTube member, Jennifer Hansen. Huge shout out. We appreciate you. Was I interrupting you?
It was just craziness over there. I had to see what was going on.
What, over in my direction? When is it
Mhm.
not?
Yeah, it's always craziness. And
So,
thank you,
yeah, huge shout
Victorine.
out to Jennifer Hansen, new member. Hopefully you it sticks, unlike what YouTube has been doing to some of our community, but welcome. We're super stoked to have you here, and we appreciate that. And then a huge shout out to Victorine, member for 1 month. Hit that like button, hit that thumbs up button, and let those thought riots out.
Yeah, and it is I mean, it is interesting going back to what Chief Fry said that they weren't witnesses, but he said because the reporter made that assumption. She just made the assumption they were witnesses, and I don't think he wanted that information to be out there that they were witnesses.
Oh
So I
gosh,
think he
I
tried
don't
to backstep
agree.
and be like, I never said they were witnesses, I said they were there."
I don't
So what do you
agree.
think?
I And the reason why I don't agree is because of our video on the read technique, where you have the picture that we showed yesterday that says the interview room. Um, the Idaho uses the read technique. Okay. The read technique is a technique that leads people to a conclusion. The law enforcement officer already comes into the conversation with a planned outcome. That is part of the
Okay,
read
what does that
technique.
have to
Hold
do?
on, hold on, hold on. So, every time they talk to them, that creates an outcome and or possibility for that story to evolve and change. Okay. So at the time of that interview, were they considered eyewitnesses yet, or have they not been talked to enough for their story to develop and evolve while the police are continuing to use the read technique to then transition and turn into an eyewitness account seeing the suspect? Do you feel me? Like, okay, so the first time they talk to cops, they say, "No, I didn't see anything, officer. I can't remember anything. I had quite a bit to drink that night. I'm not sure."
I
And the cops are asking, "Well, are you sure you didn't see this? Are you
I
sure
know
you
what
didn't
you're
see this?"
saying.
And then "No, officer, I didn't." And then the next time they come in, because of those leading questions, that is now in their mind. So when they come in to then continue the read technique, which is a leading interrogation conversation, they now have a basis and premise for their ideas to stem from.
I see what you're saying, but then what's Chief Fry's intention of what he said?
That there literally weren't any eyewitnesses.
That he was being
That
honest.
he was being honest. That there weren't any yet at that
Okay.
time.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So here's an interesting thing. I think Chief Fry is a pretty honest chief, you guys, based on the little bit of investigation that I've done, right? And we talked about this yesterday, and we talked about the fact that a chief is not directly involved in an investigation. Would he have been involved in an investigation of this size and of this importance? Probably. He probably should have at least, but he doesn't need to be. So, no matter if there's corruption going on in this investigation or corruption in ISP or corruption, whatever, you can still have honest people in the police department. And based on all accounts, Chief Fry seems honest other than, okay, I know the things speculation that's out there around the pay and stuff like that. Other than whatever the pay information is. That's the one thing people keep pulling up and saying, the whole police department's dirty because Chief Fry gives his own raises every year and things like that. So, but all in all, based on what I've seen, he's been more honest than the previous chief.
Okay.
So I'm going to assume, and a total assumption, right? That leaves me out in the open to look like a fool, but I'm going to assume that he at least attempts to be honest.
I think Chief Fry could be an honest chief of police who was also a major pushover and doesn't see red flags.
That's what I gather
Because
from
he's
him
too
too.
much of a nice guy that he can't call people on their stuff, and he looks the other way.
That's interesting because that's what I think too. But the reason why I think that is total and complete speculation
Me
based
too.
on my own personal experiences
Me
in
too.
reading people.
Me too. That's what
So,
I get from Chief Fry. I never felt right saying he specifically was corrupt. Like, I've never felt that way because honestly, he looks like such a nice and seems like such a nice, like, grandpa,
yeah,
like,
he's probably
he
like the
seems
good
super sweet.
grandpa, and Bill Thompson is the bad grandpa.
He's
Yeah.
the bad Santa grandpa.
They're kind of both Santas, but
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I think that it's possible that he's a pushover.
I
And
agreed
he's
with you.
not he can't manage people and hold them accountable properly.
Agreed with you. Agreed. 100% agreed. Oh man, Amber, you are like, we
So,
are best friends. How did you know that I'm 29 or younger? But yeah, I think great point, Heather. I think he's in a difficult spot. I agree with you. I think, look, you guys, is this possible? Let me give you this outline and idea, okay? Is it possible that every single law enforcement officer that was involved in this case, from the top to the bottom, everybody, is it possible that they are all good people and they all did their best that they could with the little experience they have, but they made a mistake by allowing a couple of officers to come in that are corrupt and known provable corrupt, which the Brady Giglio proves there's something going on there, right? And those two corrupt officers made very critical decisions and changed and altered this investigation in a corrupt fashion, therefore making everybody in this case look corrupt and bad. Is that possible?
so when a situation like this happens and you have a local police force that can't handle what's going on, and they have like the state police come in and other jurisdictions, maybe like FBI, things like that, and the local jurisdiction still stays head of the investigation, do they see those Brady Giglio reports on these officers? Like, are they even up to date on that? Do they
Bro, yeah, I mean, the general public knew it.
I understand that, but that's yeah, I understand that. But like when they're brought in, are they briefed like these officers did this stuff?
I like reaffirming information, like a reminder, like an update.
Like, are they
Hey,
briefed on
here
each officer's history?
I got you. So you're asking if they came to like Chief Fry or Officer Payne once he was the lead investigator, and ISP was like, "Hey, we're going to give you a few officers to work locally there with you that live in the nearby area or whatever. Here they are. Just want to let you know. Here's a background of these officers, pros and cons, work history, things like that." I don't know.
I don't
I
think
don't think so
I don't think
because
so.
that doesn't feel reasonable to me. And I used to manage hundreds of people with multiple different teams of people with multiple different leaders. And when you're getting fill-ins and things like that, you don't give a whole rundown of job history on who you're giving them. And you know what's interesting is depending on the industry you're in, you actually hand over some of your worst officers, or in my situation, worst salespeople, because those sales don't benefit your team directly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that policing wasn't benefiting an ISP investigation. It was a Moscow Police Department
You need your
investigation.
best officers, so you give the ones that you don't
So did
need.
they hand over a ticking time bomb just waiting to blow up
Like,
Moscow?
"Ugh, I'm so done with you, Tolson. You've got us in so much trouble. You just go over there and handle that."
Yeah, go to Moscow because I don't wanna see you anymore.
Right.
Did that happen? And then pissed off Tolson brought the same crap that he just did 12 months earlier into this worldwide international crime that's getting some of the most attention since the OJ case. Is that a possibility? Because it feels like it could be.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you have an experienced officer like Tolson that has successfully, well, not successful, but successfully initially being corrupt and altering timestamps on videos and catering evidence to match his narrative in a totally disgusting, corrupt fashion. He successfully did that in a trial and got a conviction. He's fresh off that, right? Coming into Moscow with the pressure and the heat and pain, who he has a direct connection to locally from where he's at, and uses those same techniques. Like, don't worry, buddy. Like, we're gonna make it through this. I got you. I'll take care of you. I know how to do it.
I wonder if Payne grew up in Bonners Ferry, and
We
that's
need to do a
why
deep
he
dive
has a
into him.
business there. And yeah, I'm curious if he did, but yeah, I think that's a good possibility, what you're saying. I really do think that's a really good possibility.
I agree.
And
I
I
think it's a good
and yeah,
possibility.
police are brothers. They back each other up no matter what. You know, the brotherhood, it's strong.
It's trauma bonded
It's strong. All
scariness.
cops seem to back all other cops, and I think as a police officer, I wouldn't want to do that knowing what I know as a citizen, because I don't wanna back people that make me look bad. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want
Yeah.
everyone to hate me and think, "F all cops," because I don't wanna support those people that they're talking about. I
I
wanna be a
agree with
good
you.
cop.
There needs to be a major shift in mentality in law enforcement. There is no option but to have a major shift in mentality, because this this blue blood backing each other up needs to end. It needs to go away. They're public servants. I know I've said this stuff till I'm blue in the face, you guys. I know it, but I'm going to keep saying it because it's that important. But we own the cops. If you're a police officer, I fight for your rights. I back your rights. I support you. I am here for you in any capacity I could be, because I expect you to be there for me when I have a 911 call. I pay my taxes. I believe in the police. I support the police. And I think the police are phenomenal and great and incredible people. Therefore, any corrupt officers out there are not only doing an injustice to the general public and population, but you're also, you know, pooing on your other brothers in blue that are honest cops.
Mhm.
And it's so unfair.
Mhm. It is. It's super
So
unfair.
unfair.
Yeah. The bad egg always ruins it for the majority, for sure. And
So
I find
frustrating.
Rosie extremely suspicious as well. There's just no
Yeah.
there's no proven corruption behind him specifically, but his actions that I've seen so far, I find Highly suspicious.
They are. They absolutely are. They
Yeah.
absolutely are. And I think anyone would find them suspicious. And here's the interesting thing is the way that all these cops are talking to the locals now is night and day different. You know, when you make a change because something's not working and or wrong. Well, there's a
Right.
change that was made recently, you know?
Yeah. A major change.
Yeah. A major, major, major change.
I mean, because the body cam footage of them peeing on the house is like it's night and day different the way they're approaching all the houses compared to and and also, I mean, I guess the body cam footage of the noise complaint, I don't think Rosie was disrespectful to the frat guys. He was actually pretty nice to them in that.
You're right, he was.
And then I felt like he wasn't necessarily mean to Kaylee, but he did things that with her that he didn't do to them. That seemed more invasive, way more invasive of of their
Yeah.
privacy at that home and her personal privacy.
Every video footage that I've seen him a part of, he's a jerk. Like, let's just call it what it is here. He has been a total jerk. But yes, in that video footage, he talked very normal, like you would expect to see somebody out in general public walk up to somebody else and have a conversation with them. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
To the frat guys. And then he went over to 1122 King and while was very confident in his approach, he expected her to bend to his will and not say no if she was uncomfortable. And I feel like she had the right to say, no, you can't see my ID because we're not breaking the law here.
Well, I think I would be okay with giving my ID, but I wouldn't be okay with him taking a picture. As soon as he pulled his phone out to take a picture, I'd be like, "Whoa, what are you doing? Why are you
Yeah.
taking a picture of my ID with your cell phone?"
Yeah.
I'm not okay with that. You can write down my driver's license number. That's fine. You can write in your little report you talk to me, but you do not need a picture of my ID. You have a pen and paper right here. You can write down my driver's license
Yeah,
number.
and there's a way to say it nicely too in those
They have on
situations
body
where you
cams.
don't wanna be, a jerk to them. And I personally would be say something like, "Hey, I actually have a pen and paper inside so that you don't have to take a picture of my license. Do you want me to just write it down? You can watch me, write it down. I'll write all that information down for you." But yeah.
Yeah, I think there's ways to say it nice, but they also have on body cam footage, so it's not like he needed, like, picture proof he was there talking to her.
Yeah. It's just, and then body cam footage, just there's a certain level of accountability around it. You know what I mean? So yeah, no. I agree with you. And yes, we've talked about this quite a few different times because it still holds true. The weirdness and issues there. So yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, but a cop who isn't okay, so I saw J Ray say that when they were all standing outside and as soon as the cops walked up, they went inside and that would feel disrespectful to the cops.
Oh
Get over it.
no.
That's
Yeah.
ego. That is an
Yeah.
over aggressive cop to let
Yeah.
their ego be hurt and then treat someone different because a bunch of kids ran inside when they saw a cop. Like,
Yeah.
that's gonna happen that happens, I guarantee, every time they walk up to one of these houses.
Yeah.
Because at the frat house, I think several of them did go inside, or did they
Well,
not?
the frat boys literally said, "Anyone under 21, get inside now." That's what they said. So, yeah, they did run inside. But, I agree that I don't think it's okay. And we can go back to this argument time and 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 time again. But here's the thing, unless there's an actual law unless there is a law that a police officer can give me when they're pulling me over to allow them to take a picture of my ID, I would not allow it. And if they tried to continue doing it anyways, then I would have been videoing them with my phone while they're taking pictures of my ID and letting them know that, my very next call after you're done with me is going to be to my legal team. So, I hope you're doing what's right here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't care what the details are. I don't care if cops have done it before. I don't want my ID and information that has all my personal information on it and my home address, maybe my family's address, um, all my stats and everything on somebody's phone outside of my control. If I'm going to put my personal information out there in a way that puts it at risk of getting put out on, the dark web, whatever, then that's my choice. My choice and decision. I don't want somebody else to have that choice and decision.
No, and I think there's no way for you to tell if it's a work phone or not, but if they're gonna be taking pictures of people's IDs, it doesn't just need to be a work phone, it needs to have, like, the same exact computer system they have in their vehicles for looking up
Yeah.
IDs,
A company
and
issued phone. Yeah.
yes, and they don't take pictures of your ID to look it up in their car, they type in the driver's license number, and then a picture pops up.
I mean, they have multiple different options. They can do it that way if they have one
A
of their
scanner.
computers with them, or they can literally call it in. So dispatch is allowed to. They're allowed to say, "All right, hey, dispatch, I have an ID number that I need you to look up." And then they just read off the driver's license number. Dispatch will then do a quick search and come back to them and say, "Yeah, no open warrants, no this, no that, clear." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's a couple different options. So why was a picture taken?
There's no need for it.
I,
There is not a need.
It felt like it was more it felt like it took more effort to get the picture of the ID than it would be just to put that information in the computer, right?
Yeah, a picture I agree is seizure. I think it is a Fourth Amendment violation, to be honest. And I just think there's no reasonable need to do that other than A, laziness, or B, some other intention that I don't think is probably a good one.
Yeah. I think that could be true. Yeah. Yeah. I
It's
think it's incompetence or corruption.
yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Yep, absolutely. Which is the issue we've had with this case from the very, 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 very beginning, and that we're even talking about tonight with the front door being open. I think that's a big deal. That front door being open, not even taking into account the other aspects of the video that you brought up with the direction that he was driving, where they said he turned around, all those details. We haven't even dug into those yet, but that front door is an issue
It's a major issue.
because look, let's try and look at it from the perspective of the prosecutor and the police. What is the benefit in gagging everything when it comes to trying to get a conviction? They see all these wild theories out there. But anybody that's involved in this case, there's no way they aren't looking at what people are saying
Oh, they are.
online.
They
So
are.
they see these theories out there. So why is it not beneficial to come out with a statement to clear up these theories? Instead, they want to continue to not let the public know what's going on and continue to complain like a bunch of babies. Oh my God, the true
Well,
crime community, they're so
you know,
bad. Have you seen
yeah.
all the theories that they've put out there? Like, come on, dude. You want us to not care about our society and country?
Right. And you know what you're saying? Actually, A.R. Hayes just talked about this in a recent video that I watched where he was saying, why couldn't they have just released, a picture of Bryan Kohberger getting out of his car at the grocery store or, getting in his car and also a picture of the surveillance footage of him by the home just to settle the rumors? Just to let the public know, look what the good work we're doing. We are getting the evidence. We're doing a good job. Just a freaking picture.
I hear you. I hear you, and
Because
I'm
there's
right there
so
with
many
you.
cases that we do get that. And I don't ever hear people complaining that that is going to bias the
And
jury.
it's not just Idaho because the Lori Vallow case.
Right.
Yeah. The Daybell case,
A lot.
they put all those details out there and it was gagged.
Yeah. They put a lot of details out for a gagged case.
A lot.
And
A lot.
part of that was trying to find the children, because as much information as you can give to the public that doesn't hinder your investigation but helps them find the kids, they needed to put a lot out.
Mm, yeah, I don't think there's more of a need in that case than there is in this case. It's so offensive. It is so offensive to expect your society and people not to be interested in their society.
Yeah, that's like an Orwellian 1984, or is that the 89?
Yeah.
I don't remember. Um, it's like that kind of world, an Orwellian state where you're told to look the other way. It's none of your business. Let the authorities do what the authorities do and just mind your business.
Yeah.
Do your work, slave. Don't pay attention
But
over here.
only in this case.
Yeah.
Because again, going back to the Lori Vallow case,
Yeah. Well,
I do think that they responded to the public and put information out. They put
it was a
out
different county.
they put exactly my point. That's my point
Yeah.
here, is that it's not the state of Idaho. It is literally that town. It is Moscow PD.
The county. The prosecutor
So
too. I think the prosecutor's involved. He's was involved from day 1 or 2,
so why?
which is interesting because AR Hayes also asked that question of, do you think there was a gag order on this case, essentially, in essence, from the beginning? Bill Thompson was there from the beginning. Kind of. I mean, there kind of was a gag on it
Yeah,
the whole time.
the idea of a gag,
Yeah.
kind of, which is very strange also because it was, what's that called again? That type of homicide. It was um, an unsuspected homicide, I think is what I called it before, where when we were doing the
Mhm.
statistical analysis into the amount of physical evidence that there is expected on average for a homicide. And they called a homicide with an unknown victim like an unsuspected homicide or something like that. So this was an unsub situation. They didn't know who the suspect was. They had no idea. It was an unknown suspect in a quadruple homicide, and there was no information coming out except for an incorrect car model.
Right.
Bro,
The only information we had was incorrect. Like the 2 survivors being on the first floor, that was incorrect. The wrong car model.
yeah.
How much more of it's incorrect?
It's been incorrect like from day one, it feels like. So what? Isn't that wild? And
Yeah.
I have an off-topic question. So off topic from the premiere that we showed tonight. Why? I have this question, okay? And we talked about this a little bit, but it's such a good question and I've been thinking about it nonstop lately. Why do you think, or isn't it weird? I guess that's a better way to put it. Isn't it weird how there is so much weird information in this case? Just an endless amount of weird, unexplainable comments, details, decisions from the police that, like, it's almost like there's an index of weird situations in this that it's enough for us to talk through all the weird situations and then replay it and talk through it again and then replay it and talk through it again. You know what I mean? So the true crime community that's talking on the Idaho 4 case, it's a never-ending revolving door, just having so much weird information that there's like, 100 pieces of weird decisions and information out there in this case. So you start at 1, go through 100, and then replay it again. It's like a never-ending cycle.
It is.
I know. And it's weird. That's how much information in this case doesn't make sense. It's so strange that, like we were joking with me earlier, like, okay, it's not hard to find something weird about me. What's hard is to find something normal about me. With this case, it's not hard to find something weird about it. What's hard is to find something normal. What in this case can you point out that we've seen done in the past in other large cases? Try and find one.
Yeah, I can't think of anything right now.
Yeah, try and find one.
Oh, yeah, that's weird. Um, yeah, I don't know. I
We got to
can't.
go through new docs too, but go ahead.
It doesn't really fit most cases by any means. That's why it kind of feels. I mean, that's why it doesn't feel right. That's why it doesn't make sense. And normally, once you get the truth of a case, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Like the
Yes.
Gabby Petito situation. That ended up making sense at the end.
Mhm.
Savannah Soto. That just ended up making sense in the end. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Even though the person's lying, we know they're lying. But
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just a lot of cases out there.
But there's enough
The
information where
Daybell
it's
Vallow
verifiable
case.
and
Yeah.
it makes sense. Like it's logical. 1 + 1 = 2.
And the Daybell case is insane. She's literally a nut job.
That traveled all over the place and committed crimes all over the place. And they've shared enough information for us to connect 1 + 1 = 2. Like we see it, we get it. What is different when
And
this case?
it
What is different?
also, it made sense before the trial.
Yeah.
We
100%.
didn't need the trial to make sense of any of the cases I just mentioned.
Correct. Absolutely. We were given a fair amount of information and open sharing from the very beginning.
Honestly, most cases make sense before the trial. If the person's indeed guilty and
The
there
trial
isn't
usually makes it
corruption,
not make sense.
the trial
Like
ends
the
up
Melly case.
yes, the trial ends up confusing you more
Uh-huh.
in some situations, not all. But like the Daybell
Which
case,
makes
that
sense
wasn't
with a good
confusing.
defense attorney. But
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I agree. And we do have new documents, you guys. So we are going to go through those new documents also. Case.
You didn't want to talk about the car?
Yeah, we
The
can talk about the car for sure.
Okay,
I just
we'll do these first though.
no. Okay, yeah, I guess.
You're already doing it, so just do it.
Yeah, but you can give a rundown of the car. I gotta go to the restroom.
What do you mean a rundown?
Yeah, just a recap of what you
Well,
talked about on the car.
Then pull up the affidavit so I can go to that part.
Here. Take it.
Okay.
Yeah, because that car part is important to your story.
Yeah.
Because again, it's major information being left out in this PCA, in the story in general, in the information that's being shared with us, in all of it.
To be honest,
To the point that I'm frustrated like this. God.
and I'm sorry if you guys already know a lot of it. Like, I have not dove into the car enough. I know there's creators who have dove into the route a lot that the car took that night and talked about it, but I need to be just listening to somebody talk about it. It's not going to fully make sense in my head till I go through the information myself and put it together on a map and make sense of it myself. I can't just listen to people showing a car on a map talking about times and everything and be like, "Oh yeah, yeah, yeah." I just can't do that. It's too boring. I need to be hands-on with it. So, and hopefully if you're the same way, I can make it make sense. So, but here, I'm going to scroll to the part of the affidavit that here. What is it, this one? Trying to remember which one Brendan uses. It's this one, right? Yeah. Okay. Hold on. I want to try out a different layout. Oh, that's tiny. Tinier. Tinier doesn't look good, does it? No. Oh, that could cut off Brendan, though. Okay. I was just curious. I've never played with those before. Okay. Back on track here. That's distorted audio. Okay, here we are. Suspect vehicle 1. And I'm not really talking about the route that he supposedly took through the town, but directly in front of the home. Because I haven't really dove into that a lot. I just thought that this particular part is weird to me, and I feel like it is missing the video footage, especially with the front door left open. Because the front door left open makes me feel like the person went through the front door. And if Dylan's statement is true, went out the back door. Like that's what it implies to me. So, and they claim in this PCA to have video footage of Bryan Kohberger directly in front of the house turning around while he's making these loops. So, if that's true, it seems like it's odd that they don't have any video footage of him entering the home through the front door. Because Dylan said that it looked like he was leaving through the back door, which also doesn't make sense for her frozen shock face. If you don't realize this guy just killed your friends and your roommates, and it looks like he's leaving, then why would you be in a state of shock at all? It doesn't make sense at all. But I read this in the video, but I figured I kind of want to pull up a map. How's Google Maps these days on the 1122 King Road house? I know it's blurred on Street View, which is super crappy. Really dumb. Super dumb. Okay, satellite. Oh no.
You know what I was thinking? I was thinking that we should get giant workout balls to sit on and bounce the whole time we're talking. Would that be better to watch?
Maybe for some people. I think some people would very much enjoy that.
Yeah, that's my New Year's resolution.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is to stay on workout balls and bounce all the time? Okay. So, I will read this part real quick and then go into it. So, a review of footage from multiple videos obtained from the King Road neighborhood showed multiple sightings of suspect vehicle 1 starting at 3:29 a.m. and ending. Why doesn't this scoot over like okay. Ending at 4:20 a.m. These sightings show suspect vehicle 1 makes an initial 3 passes by the 1122 King Road residence and then leave via Willenta Drive based off of, okay, we don't need to read his experience. Suspect vehicle 1 can be seen entering the area a 4th time. Okay, well, I guess this is important. There's only a few cars that enter and exit this area during this time frame, which is also interesting. There are a few other cars that went in and out during that time frame. And we also know that there were cars going in there via the Linda Lane footage.
Yeah.
Suspect vehicle 1 can be seen entering the area a fourth time at approximately 4:04 a.m. It can be seen driving eastbound on King Road, stopping and turning around in front of 500 Queen Road, number 52. And when I looked that up, that is a very specific apartment in the Queen Road apartments. So he literally turned around in
Eyewitness.
front of one of these apartments. Which one is number 50? It's about like right here is what I remember looking at last time. I could look it up, I guess.
That's all right.
But
Eyewitness.
or a camera. Because they're claiming they know all of this because of cameras. So that this is the parking lot that everybody talks about is over here. That's unit 52.
They claim he parked down here.
Yeah, this is the parking lot.
Yeah.
Where Queen Road ends.
Yeah.
And this is Walinta. Which the only way he could have even gotten out to Walinta is by going back out King Road and turning left.
Yep.
Okay, so going back. And driving back westbound on King Road. When suspect vehicle 1 is in front of the King Road residence, it appeared to unsuccessfully attempt to park or turn around in the road. The vehicle then continued to the intersection of Queen Road and King Road, where it can be seen completing a 3-point turn. So going back to the map, he came down here, down past the residence to the Queen Road apartments, turned around in front of the apartments, then goes back down Queen Road to the intersection of King Road and Queen Road right here and makes a 3-point turn. But in between that time, he's right in front of the house and apparently tries to park or turn around unsuccessfully.
Yeah.
That's a bit weird.
This whole statement is weird. It makes me feel like one of two things. Either if this ends up being true, he was the driver and or lookout, and he was trying like, where's he at? Where's he at? Where is he at? You know what I mean? Or there is a sexual element to this case, and he was unfocused on what was going on because of the fantasy. Because we know that serial enders fantasize and pump themselves up and prep, and part of that is that, you know what I mean? So
Maybe.
it just sounds like madness is what I'm getting at. It sounds like an unfocused driver, like very aimlessly going all over the place. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Maybe. So then he drives eastbound again down Queen Road, assuming that's back towards the house. And then that's it. Then he's seen departing the area of the King Road residence at approximately 4:20 a.m. at a high rate of speed.
Yeah.
And then the suspect
So
vehicle 1 is
strange,
next
right?
observed traveling southbound on Walinta Drive. It's just so if he went eastbound again down Queen Road after that 3-point turn, they would have had to have seen him on whatever camera picked him up in front of the King Road residence. Like there's clearly a camera here that picked him up trying to turn around unsuccessfully or park unsuccessfully. He turns back around when he goes down here, he comes back towards the residence and then is just never seen again till he's leaving? No, that's not even possible. It's not possible.
Yeah, I know.
That camera had to have picked it up. Did it pick him up going into the house? And if it didn't, why? Especially if he went through the front door.
Right.
or
To
left.
connect it with the front door being opened,
Yes.
and yes, I know.
Or left. It doesn't matter if he entered or exited through the front door. Regardless, how could they see him trying to park in front of the house or turn around and then not see anything until he's leaving? And if they have that kind of footage, why is it not in the PCA?
I know. Yeah, I know. I know. These are
It should be.
really good questions that a lot of people have been
It should be in the PCA.
agreed. Yeah, I agree. I agree with you 100%.
What? KG Range Rover cams caught his movement? Can a car just record like that?
No, not without being on. But I'm curious if there could be some kind of technology that shows like when people are getting close, because that, you know how cool that would be to have a car that has like side cams and rear cams that picks up a video even when your car's off when somebody gets close to it. Like that would be awesome. You could never have someone ding your door and get away with it,
True, that would
you
be
know?
super cool.
Mhm.
So let's go back to the 3-point turn. The vehicle continued to the intersection of Queen Road and King Road where it can be seen. It says it can be seen. That's not implied. It said they literally saw it.
Mhm.
And a 3-point turn. I mean, to be real, none of this is verified. They don't verify themselves in any of this.
No. In any of
They
it.
say it can be seen for all of this. They do not say it's on this camera on this house that that's not anywhere in this little section. Um, and it probably should be.
And that's one of the highlights that Ian pointed out before when we were going through the PCA, that the words that they use, none of it is concrete in the
No,
PCA. I know. It's
which it
super
makes it feel
strange.
intentional so that they have wiggle room to change it. Well, no,
That's
we didn't mean this. We
exactly.
meant this.
Exactly.
So that
That
they
gives
can
them
make it
free
fit.
reign in court.
Yeah.
Yeah. It gives you free reign in courts, and it's a very manipulative way to try and control the narrative and or case. When evidence convicts, people don't convict. It's super sus. The whole reason why we're focused on this case are details like this, that everyone's been saying for a year plus already, but it still holds true even now, right now, still holds true. I still read this and I'm left like, "Ugh, what
This
is
is,
going on
to
here?"
me, this is one of the most important parts of the PCA and trying to determine if he's guilty or not, is placing him at that home with something other than the sheaf, other than touch DNA. And this doesn't do that at all.
No, it doesn't.
I would be asking if I was a prosecutor or like anybody who has any authority over this and is like, "You guys, what's going on? You didn't cite any cameras. You didn't say anything specific or concrete about this at all. And if you saw him trying to turn around in front of the house, then how come you don't have video of him when he goes in the house?" Or, you know what I mean? Because they knew the door was open. They knew it was open. And they
Mhm.
had to have been developing a theory on how this person entered and exited the home, and there's zero forced entry.
Yep. I know. I know. It drives me crazy. It doesn't make any sense. None.
Like, I would be asking questions.
Yes. Yes.
Like, if I had the authority to ask the investigators, I'd be
Yeah.
like, "What is this?"
I agree with you 100%. We are like on the same page here with that. I agree. I agree. I don't think it makes sense. It hasn't made sense from day one, and it doesn't leave any room for the crime itself. Because look, even this driving feels very unplanned, okay? So if we want to sell the narrative that this was a very thought out, obsessed, and thoroughly planned crime, he wouldn't be driving aimlessly like this. There would be planning behind it, right?
Yeah.
I am going to drive to the house. I know where the cameras are already predetermined. I am going to drive back there. I'm going to park. I'm going to get out of the car. I'm going to change. I'm going to approach the house. I'm going to check if everything is in the right order that I can conduct this crime. I'm going to do this. You know what I mean? Like, it would be very planned and to the point. This driving is not concise. It is not planned. It is not to the point. It is chaotic and random.
Yes. Especially considering that they're claiming he made 3 passes by the home first, and then starting at 3:29 AM. So he spent an entire 35 minutes making loops, going around, driving by this house 3 times, and then the 4th time he does this. Where he's like trying to figure out what he's doing? Like, if you drove by it that many times, then how do you not know where you're gonna park?
I hear you. I agree
That
with
makes
you.
no sense. You would know exactly
So,
where you're gonna park,
humans,
especially if you've been stalking the house for months.
you literally read my mind there. Like, you picked up on
That makes no
you
sense.
picked up on the frequency that was coming out of the middle of my brain because you said what I was just thinking.
Okay.
So, yeah, if you're stalking, like they like to sell this narrative that he was stalking, okay? Humans are we love our habits. We are very repeatable creatures. We want to be able to do the same things over and over and over and over and over again because it's convenient, obviously. Doing something that you already know the outcome is convenient. You know how much time it takes, all these things, right? It's all benefits, no negatives, all benefits to being repetitive and in nature. So if he would have been here at this house and stalking a whole bunch of times, then he would have known where to drive right away and where to park right away and everything to do and where to see everything right away every single time because he had been there and had been doing it every single time because we have that habit built. We are habitual in nature. We love it. We love habits. Love them, obsessed with them. Everybody does.
Well, and if Bryan Kohberger has OCD, he's all about habits.
Yeah, exactly. Allie.
And
Yeah, exactly.
rituals.
OCD, ritualistic, habitual creatures. Okay. This is not a habit.
No.
This driving is it looks like he's lost. Okay. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
He attempted to park or maybe make a 3-point turn. We aren't quite sure. What? All right.
And I'm confused why the 3-point turn is connected to the Linda Lane footage because it never talks about a 3-point turn in the Linda Lane footage unless people are saying, well, he's just making 3-point turns everywhere. Duh. He made one there, so of course he made one there.
Yeah. 3-point turns for the win.
I mean, that parking lot looks like you wouldn't necessarily need to make a 3-point turn.
Yeah, where was it? We'll go back to it. Yeah. So
go over.
Right? It connects right here?
No.
Oh.
It doesn't.
Oh, okay. So you could just come up here and turn around or turn here and turn around.
That's the fence. So go
Look,
over.
this is enough room to turn around.
Yeah.
This is a big old truck.
That's
right there.
not the Linda Lane footage though. Here, let me see this.
Right. I got
so,
you. Go ahead.
So look,
Yeah.
this is the dumpster.
Yeah.
And that's where that guy, he walked up here, went to the dumpster, walked up here. And this is where we see him running into the neighborhood.
Right. This is the parking lot area.
This is the parking lot where the car is. And this is the fence right here. Okay. And the camera's here.
Yep.
And then we see that guy running and he runs this way. And that's grass and trees. That is not the road continuing.
Okay. Makes sense. I was one street off over, but yeah, okay. That's
Yeah.
good. Good, good.
And if I'm just trying to think. Okay, so he would drive up here. I mean, this is a strange place to turn around. And they
Wow,
were
it's the worst
oddly
place to turn
it's
around.
oddly specific about that, but maybe they do mean it's here in the Linda Lane parking lot. I don't know why they would be specific about a unit number though. Why did they put a specific unit number?
I don't know, but
Did he pull
there's
into
enough
somebody's
room to
park
turn around here. This
well,
almost looks like parking spots. Do you see those
right, did
lines?
he pull into somebody's parking spot and turn around? And
Oh,
that's why they're being specific on the unit number.
okay.
Are
And
they
this even
numbered
says no
lots?
parking right here.
Oh, you're right.
NOPARKING.
Yeah,
Just in case you didn't
and
know how to spell no
this
parking,
is
you know.
yeah, and this is the parking lot right here in the back behind the 1122 King
Mhm.
residence, and this is a dead end. Because originally, I don't know why I thought in my head that road continued, it doesn't.
Mhm. It's a one way in, one way out,
It
baby.
is one way in, one way out. You have
Yep.
once you enter Queen Road, you have no way of getting out unless you turn around and go back out.
Yeah, unless you wanna go off-roading through some fields and
Or
houses.
drive through a tree.
Yeah, yeah.
There's so many trees, dude, I don't even think you could get through. I
Mm-mm-mm.
don't think there's a way to.
But yeah, no, I'm glad you looked this up because I know we've talked about this quite a few times, and being able to visualize it always helps. I've always felt like this footage was weird. This is one of the things that um tripped me out from the very beginning. From the very beginning, it hasn't made a lot of sense to me. So yeah, and I think there's a possibility it could be two separate cars too, like Heather's saying. I again, you guys, so it's not uncommon for us to see police officers that are trying to make evidence fit a narrative, especially in a situation where they have a ton of pressure on them, a ton of pressure on them. And this is one of those situations where they have a ton of pressure on them. So, it makes complete and total sense.
You can't do Google Street View anywhere here.
Yeah.
Nowhere, they completely have taken it off. I don't know
Yeah.
if you ever could, but, I don't think there is a street here where you can loop this building.
Hmm.
I'm pretty positive there's not. I know that this all goes around. You can drive all of this.
Yeah. But not in a circle. Just, yeah.
Yeah, this is where it stops though, because there's that fence and we have footage right there where it looks like it's all grass.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. Interesting, right? Super interesting. So, what are the Oh, go ahead, sorry, I didn't mean to
It's
cut you off.
not letting me do Google Street View, I just tried. It wasn't popping up at all. Whoa, something fell.
Yep. So, there is the new documents, you guys, the new documents here. We had 3 of them come out, and, it looks like on 1/5/2024, amended order governing courthouse and courtroom conduct. The motion to temporarily seal objection. Temporary order sealing objection to defendant's motion. All right. How do we go here? All right. So this is interesting. Funny how the entire true crime community was just recently talking about how they're going to manage behavior locally here. And then to see a response like, hey, we're watching the community and we're going to respond as these things pop up. It kind of feels like that, right? I know that Drip Drop has mentioned that multiple times. And I do think that people involved in this case are absolutely watching true crime creators in the community, and it might spark like, oh yeah, I forgot I needed to do this. So let's check it out, how it's going to go here. Oh, sorry, I wasn't sharing page, my bad. All right, so In the District Court of 2nd Judicial District of Idaho, State of Idaho versus Bryan C. Kohberger. This order governs courthouse. Oh man, I'm gonna need spectacles, you guys. Hang on one second. All right, there we go. Am I gonna need my spectacles? Yep, there we go. All right. I have a fake lens in one of my eyeballs, so I can either read like this or use my glasses. Which one looks better? Does it look better to read like this?
Like a pirate?
Yeah. I could just get a patch that I could flip up when I'm not reading and then flip down when I am reading. Or I can wear my glasses. But they had to pull my lens out of my eyeball. It got lost. It got broke free and like it went into my brain somewhere.
What is that for real? What happened to your lens?
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
I'm gullible, as you could tell, I guess. No, what happened to your lens?
It got lost.
What?
Yeah.
Your lens can't just get lost.
Yeah. You don't take your lenses out of your eye?
What happened to your eye? Why did they have to do a replacement? Did it get scratched?
No. So they had to give me a replacement lens in my eye when I was 19, I think, because I had signs of cataracts. Because nobody at 19 has cataracts, except for dirt bike riders that like to ride in the desert with no goggles on, or goggles in a windstorm, or like there's
so
just
your
a
eye
lot
just
going
got
on.
pounded by sand.
Yeah, and flies and stuff. Yes. Yep. Yep. I am a machine. All right. So I have a lot of injuries from dirt bikes, you guys, like a lot. This order governs courthouse and courtroom conduct and media activities in this case. This order shall supersede any prior order governing courthouse and courtroom conduct. The court is mindful of the need to balance: 1, the constitutional right of the defendant to a fair hearing; 2, the public's right to information in conjunction with the constitutional and statutory rights of the media to attend the proceedings; 3, the court's interest in maintaining order and an environment that permits all participants to focus on their responsibilities without undue distractions; and 4, the court's interest in the safety of the public and court personnel and the need to follow all Idaho Supreme Court orders as may be changed or amended from time to time. With these factors in mind, pursuant to Idaho Court Administrative Rule 45 and 49, it is hereby ordered: 1, courtroom seating and attendance. Seating for victims' families, counsel, defendants' families, and court personnel. Certain seating may be reserved for counsel, authorized personnel, court personnel, the defendant's family, and victims' families. General public and media seating. The public and members of the media may be permitted in the courtroom as space permits on a first-come, first-served basis. No person may reserve seats. No standing in the courtroom will be allowed. No person other than the court personnel designated by the court, the defendant, and counsel and their assistants shall be permitted to sit in front of the bar in the courtroom without specific authorization of the court. Spectators, including members of the media and public, shall be seated before the court. Shall be seated before court is in session during any portion of a hearing. No entry or re-entry to the courtroom shall be permitted while court is in session. No movement around the courtroom will be allowed during proceedings. All persons entering the courtroom are subject to security screening. No food, beverage, firearms, or other weapons are permitted in the courthouse. All handbags, backpacks, and purses are prohibited in the courtroom. Any personal property items are subject to inspections. Now,
So no snacks in your pockets.
oh, then I can't go.
No, you're not allowed.
Man.
Yeah.
What?
He did sandblast his eyeballs off. He did.
I can't go anywhere without snacks. Diabetic problems. Cell phones are permitted inside the courthouse, but must be turned off. So that sounds
No
problematic, dude.
live Twitter updates.
And stowed out of view during the proceedings and any court recess while inside the courtroom.
Okay.
That sounds problematic.
Why?
If I was a judge, I would not allow people to have their phones. It is too easy to turn that bad boy on and start recording, which is going to cause problems for the rest of the people who are at home wanting to watch this. I just wouldn't allow phones.
You would say leave your phone in the car?
Dude, leave them in the car, man. Yep, leave them in the car.
Or we can store them somewhere.
Yep. So there are apps out there that make your phone look like it's off. And it can be recording. So just the black screen phones, full recording and everything.
Well, they did
yes.
say it has to be out of view.
I hear you, but it's very easy to have a microphone like right here, you know what I mean, or around your neck and have it plugged into your phone. Like that just leaves a lot of leeway. And I don't want some idiot out there to go in the courtroom and get all visibility from this case taken away. Yeah.
I don't think they can just close it to the public.
If they're having issues with safety, because information is safety and security. And if you have somebody in the courtroom not following these rules and they decide to record things and that gets blasted on the internet, then the whole world has it. And things that weren't supposed to be out there, like surviving roommates, certain pieces of testimony, things like that, you think that they won't close off the cameras?
I mean, why would they close off the cameras? Like,
They
okay,
will.
but that doesn't make any sense. You leave the cameras and don't allow people to sit in, or say no more phones in the courtroom, period. Like, why is the mitigating solution or whatever, like, taking away cameras to the rest of the public who did nothing?
Because that was already up in the air and this was already brought up as a concern.
Yeah, but
So,
that's
like, how
people
many
in the
strikes do you
courtroom.
think they're gonna give
That's
before they're gonna say none?
Yeah, that's people in the courtroom, though. That's so different.
I don't think that it is. I do not think that it is different. I don't think they're gonna look at it different. I don't think anything. I think that media coverage is the general public.
Okay.
That's my concern. It just, for me, it doesn't make sense. They're putting a curveball out there and hoping for the best.
Hey, AR Hayes. Hope you're having a good night. Good to see you. Everybody wants to know that app that makes your phone look like it's off.
I don't know the name off the top of my head, you guys. I'm horrible with names. Remind me, bookmark that question, okay? And then once I have time to sit down and find it again, I will post it for you.
I'm sure it matters if you have Android or Apple, though.
I mean, not if it's the same application, but offered on Apple and Android. All right, so cell phones shall not be used for texting, emailing, recording, or transmitting audio, images, or written accounts of the proceedings to platforms such as Facebook, X, formerly Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, blogs, or other similar platforms or websites while inside the courtroom. Cell phones may only be used outside the courtroom. Violation of this rule may result in confiscation of the phone by the court, a bailiff, or other court personnel. Computers, laptops, and other similar devices are permitted in the courtroom for note-taking only and may only be used in a manner that does not interfere with the court proceedings. Cameras and microphones on electronic devices must be disabled while inside the courtroom. Electronic devices shall not be used to email, chat, record, or transmit audio, images, or written accounts of the proceedings to platforms such as Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube, blogs, or other similar platforms or websites while inside the courtroom. Violation of this rule may result in confiscation of the device by court, bailiff, or court personnel. Any activity or behavior which is considered disruptive by the court will result in Removal from the courtroom. Any spectator who creates a visual or auditory disturbance of the court proceedings may be removed from the court and or building at any time at discretion of the court security personnel. Coverage. No video recording, still photography, or audio recording is permitted by members of the media or the public as ordered by the court in the November 17th, 2023 order denying second motion to intervene and granting defendant's motion to remove media cameras from the courtroom. A live stream of the proceedings will be provided by the court and will be available in real time on the court's YouTube page found at blah, 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 blah. Oh man, I was gonna try and share it for everyone. Next time. Um, see if you can copy and paste that, no?
Okay.
The media and public may capture and use the live stream video and audio footage, but are strictly prohibited from altering the footage in any way, including zooming in on the defendant, live broadcasting, transmitting, or streaming by the media and the public from inside the courtroom is prohibited. These prohibitions include during recesses on the court proceedings. The court operated live stream coverage of the proceedings will not include audio or video of the closed hearings, private bench conferences, sidebars between the court and counsel, conferences between attorney and client, or conferences among counsel. The video and audio recording may be stopped or paused at any time by the court, order of the court, to protect sensitive witnesses, exhibits, members of trial jury, for any other reason the court deems necessary pursuant to ICAR 45. News conferences, interviews, or reporting is prohibited inside the courtroom or courthouse common areas. News conferences, interviews, or reporting in the courthouse parking lot or on courthouse grounds is allowed, as set forth in the Latah County Parking and Media Access Map attached to this order. Any news conferences, interviews, or reporting from the courthouse grounds shall be done in a manner to not impede foot traffic, obstruct access to the courthouse, or interfere with the daily operations of Latah County. Media vehicle parking is allowed as set forth in the map. In addition, any interviews, media reporting, or media parking shall be subject to any additional orders by the court. Media inquiries and communications regarding these matters shall be directed to Nate Popino, Court Communications Manager for the Idaho Supreme Court. Bam, bam, bam. All other provisions of Idaho Court Administrative Rules 4549 apply, and any authorizations under this order may be revoked at any time without prior notice. Security officers may quiet or disperse members of the public or the media as to not hinder other members of the public, Latah County employees, and court staff from accessing the building, the district court clerk's office, and any other courtrooms or offices in the building. Any activity or behavior which is considered disruptive by the court will result in removal. Any spectator who creates a visual or auditory disturbance of the court proceedings may be removed from the courtroom and or building at any time at the discretion of the court security personnel. Violations of this order may subject to the violator to a charge of contempt. Bam. And let's check out this map. All right, so takes me a second for my eyeballs to adjust. Whew.
It says it's not found.
I can post it. If you just search his personal YouTube, Judge, he's so judgy that he has 2 judges in his name. All right, so media parking over here, right? So this is for the trucks and satellite trucks. Employee and public parking here. No media staging. Media staging allowed on sidewalk. Sidewalk closed to the public. That's interesting. So they allow media here on the sidewalk and no public. And media staging cameras.
Why do they give that dumb link when his link is literally youtube.com at Judge John Judge. That link goes nowhere.
I don't. It's because somebody doesn't know what they're doing on YouTube, probably.
Where'd they even get that link?
So when you create a YouTube account, a brand new YouTube account, it auto generates your tag, okay? And then you can go in there and edit
Change
that
it.
and change it. So they probably auto created that attachment and then updated his name, and somebody checked the box that says, use their name.
Even when you press share channel and copy it, it doesn't give you that link.
So what do you think about these rules? Does anything stand out here that you didn't know?
No.
Yeah, me neither. I think that this is all within reason, other than the allowing electronics inside the courtroom. I'm a little bit surprised by that because I had thought that they didn't allow electronics in the courtroom previously. So,
yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
It is.
Most courtrooms don't allow phones in, and they take them at the door if you have them. I've had my phone taken.
I can't remember the last time I was in a court. I don't remember, you guys. I don't think. No. Well, I'm talking traffic court. Like, the last time I've been in criminal court in trouble was when I was super young. I don't think actually I've ever been in adult criminal court. I think everything I had was juvenile.
Oh, I've been in adult criminal court.
Yeah, not
my
me.
phone was taken.
I've never been in trouble as an adult. All my trouble was when I was under 18. Like, I'm so lucky. So lucky, dude.
It's 11:03 here.
Yeah,
Chicago time.
It's 12 o'clock noon here in Cambodia. Hey, Eric. But yeah, nothing new here. Motion 2. Seal objection to defendant's motion to reconsider orders. So this is motion to temporarily seal. Objection to defendant's motion to reconsider orders, denying motions to dismiss indictment, and in the alternative for permission to appeal the interlocutory orders and a stay of proceedings pending hearing. Okay, so good. I don't know why I put my glasses away. Are you listening?
Yes.
Comes now. The state of Idaho, by and through the Alot County prosecuting attorney, and hereby moves the court pursuant to Idaho Court Administrative Rule 32G and Idaho Code 74-124 for a temporary order sealing the state's objection to defendant's motion to reconsider orders, denying motions to dismiss indictment, and in the alternative for permission to appeal from interlocutory orders and a stay of proceedings herein because release or disclosure would interfere with enforcement proceedings, deprive a person of a right to a fair trial or an impartial adjudication, constitute an unwarranted invasion of personal privacy, disclose the identity of a confidential source, or disclose investigative techniques and procedures. The undersigned seek this protection pending a hearing on the matter, wherefore the state respectfully prays that the court seal from the public disclosure the state's objection to defendant's motion to reconsider orders, denying motions to dismiss indictment, and an alternative for permission to appeal from interlocutory. Yep. What do you think?
So they're trying to take it to a higher court.
Yeah, but why do you think they're trying to seal the objection?
Maybe. Do you remember originally?
Do you remember what was in it that we're?
Huh?
Do you remember what the evidence was to try and to try and appeal and overturn?
the grand jury indictment?
Yeah.
So no, because we weren't that was sealed. There was what, 23 reasons? I might be off. But remember those 23 reasons, which included
yes.
just
Okay.
we only knew a few, which one was prosecutorial misconduct
Yes.
and withholding exculpatory evidence.
Got it.
There were several.
And that was sealed
And
previously
that was
too.
sealed.
Got it. So
So
this isn't new.
and the judge denied their them trying to get that dismissed to overturn the grand jury indictment, and now they're appealing that to and trying to ask if they can take it to a higher court.
Got it. Okay. Makes complete sense now. I got you. I connected those dots. Thank you for connecting those dots. But okay. So it's the same bit of information. They're just not happy with it and appealing to a higher court, which is essentially what Judge suggested. Right?
What?
When the defense was
Oh yeah, he said this is like a Supreme Court thing.
correct,
Yeah,
because the grand jury, one of the angles they were using in court was the grand jury isn't used in the manner that the prosecution was using it in, based on the original law formulated around grand juries.
yeah.
Yeah.
That he didn't feel like it was within his rights.
Yeah, within his jurisdiction.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like he wasn't the right judge for that kind of decision.
Got it. Okay, that makes complete sense then. So really, this isn't any new information. This is everything that we've already heard. And just for anybody watching that like is catching up here, a quick rundown is when they were trying to appeal the grand jury's decision, the defense came forward and said, hey, you used the grand jury in a way that wasn't what the original law states that the grand jury is used for. The grand jury is not used as a prosecutorial tool to slam a hammer down on a defendant or a suspect to get what the prosecution wants. However, this is how we're seeing it be used. So the defense brought forward the law and concerns to Judge John Judge, and the judge stated, hey, this is essentially over my head. This is an issue with the law and a difference in the working law versus the written law. And this is going to be sent to the Supreme Court. Now, this document is them taking it to the Supreme Court.
Yeah, he didn't say it would be sent to the Supreme Court. He said it might be better suited in the Supreme Court, that argument. But they were specifically, which I know a lot of people felt like it was like kind of pointless to argue what they argued, in the fact that it was a grand jury is supposed to indict without a reasonable doubt, not just probable cause.
Right. And they have evidence to prove that there was, reasonable doubt there because the grand jury asked for more evidence.
Yeah,
so
that's not ever how the grand jury, from what I've seen and read, has ever been used, though. It's never been used that you're supposed to prove it without a reasonable doubt to a grand jury.
Yeah. I know.
So
that's why there's that major concern and issue.
Specifically, Idaho's constitution says it vaguely enough that they were saying it should be without a reasonable doubt based off of only Idaho's constitution.
Yeah, and if Bryan Kohberger is innocent, is them taking it to a higher authority going to give a more fair outcome? Do you think this is beneficial?
Yeah.
To get additional eyes on this.
It depends on what's actually going on in the case that we can't see.
Right.
And maybe it will. Or maybe they'll just be thwarted down. But one thing I want to point out is there was a hearing we didn't get to see before they made that argument. And everyone was saying, like, that's so dumb. Why did they even argue about probable cause versus
what? I don't think that was dumb at all.
Yeah, but a lot of people felt that way, that it was like, why were you fighting for that? Like, there's so many other things you could have fought for, and to specifically nitpick the law and say that they needed to prove it without a reasonable doubt,
That feels like a
seems
mainstream
well,
argument.
it probably is, but I saw it a lot online and not just mainstream people saying that. But one thing I wanna say is that there was a whole hearing before that where they probably went through all of those 23 reasons they thought it should be thrown out,
Yes. Yep.
and that is only what the public got to see.
Yep.
So we don't know what they focused on in that secret hearing. We don't know what their main argument was in that secret hearing
Yeah.
about the prosecutorial misconduct, about withholding exculpatory evidence, and many other things. We have no idea what they even are.
Yep.
And I'm curious if it is compelling enough and the judge decided to deny it anyway because he still feels like there's enough evidence there that it should go to trial and be worked out at trial, like, if it goes to the Supreme Court, what are we gonna see happen? Like, it is John Judge gonna look bad for seeing if there is for real prosecutorial misconduct that Ann Taylor has uncovered, unearthed, and proved, and them withholding exculpatory evidence, and he still continued to not overturn this case, what is
Hmm.
that gonna look like for everybody? Is he even gonna approve this going to the Supreme Court?
I I I don't think it's gonna make Judge look bad.
For
I
not overturning a case where there's clear exculpatory evidence and prosecutorial misconduct?
Yes. So judges like, dude, a judge really has to do something bad in order for them to be like aimed at, you know what I mean? Like they're doing something
Oh.
wrong. It has to be really bad. Otherwise they're given a general enough freedom to make those decisions. And I don't want to come sideways at Judge because I think he has been doing a good job within his scope of judging, right?
From what we can see.
Yeah, from what we can see, you're right. From what we can see. But I think he's been relatively fair from what we can see and everything going on. And a judge is not there to be the deciding factor on his innocence or guilt, but he should be there to uphold the law. So, based on the evidence that he's seeing, whether it is real evidence or it is baseless accusation type evidence, I don't know if Judge would be to blame in that situation if it ends up going higher up and they find out that like we see in the PCA, a bunch of just random nonsensical words stuck together. I don't think Judge would be to blame. I really don't.
Okay.
I think that would land on the person who's putting together this nonsensical random word soup, you know?
Yeah. Do prosecutors typically have any hand in the writing, the authorship of the PCA?
If it comes
Because it's written by officers,
it
investigators.
is. You're yes, it is.
So do they consult on the writing of the PCA at all? Are they even supposed to? Is it against any kind of rule? I'm
I don't think
curious
it's
about that.
against any kind of rule because I'm pretty sure the police in that if so when it comes to an arrest warrant, when it comes to a PCA, I think that it's pretty common for the police to work with the prosecution to then take it to the judge to get it signed off on. I'm pretty sure that's common. I'm not a judge, you guys, as you know, a judge. I'm not a lawyer, as you guys know, but I believe, if I'm remembering correct, that's pretty common. I guess it would just depend on the the state, county, city you're working in, and the types of relationships you have going on there, and stuff like that. But I couldn't see a reason why it wouldn't be okay for the prosecution to be involved.
Yeah.
Is what I was getting at.
And I agree with you, Allie. I think it could potentially look that way for sure. Um, CH, thanks for this. It's more nuanced than that. I'll find a tweet that explains it and put it in Discord. One says grand jury should indict if the evidence would get a conviction, which is beyond a reasonable doubt. I see what you're saying
Mm,
there. That
yeah,
kind yeah, that makes sense.
yeah,
Um, I just think the whole grand jury process should be thrown out unless it's
yeah, it's
actu
shady.
unless it is used in a way where you have more balance and the actual grand jurors are allowed the time and authority to actually investigate the case the way that it was meant to happen. Not just this system, which is you can indict a ham sandwich, as they say, used that way to where the prosecutor can just come in there and say, I need this indictment. Here's my evidence. Give it to me. Like it shouldn't be that fast.
I agree with you. I agree with you. And what's interesting is
They need that space and time to actually investigate. And I feel like there should be another voice there from the defense to balance it out if the prosecutor is going to be able to be there. Or
yeah, it's a
no
tool.
prosecutor, no defense, just evidence, and the judge and the grand jury.
100%,
Take both
100%.
sides out of it. If you're only going to allow one, then there should be none.
Well, because here's the thing. So in our justice system, we've created a system now where metrics are everything, okay? And uh they look at um prosecutorial statistics around close rates on their cases, and that's such a bad idea, man, because that's going to cause corruption in itself. It's going to cause unintentional corruption because they're being held accountable to their close rate, and that's not right. That is not okay. So yes, since we have a situation where you have prosecutors being held accountable to their close rates and metrics based on the success of the cases brought to trial. I don't think there should ever be a situation where the prosecution gets to work with a grand jury and or any juries without the defense there because they're held accountable to their metrics.
Yep,
I don't think
exactly.
it's fair. I do not think it's fair.
And I think Tara's right. I think the bottom line is Ann Taylor didn't believe they had enough, and she wanted that preliminary hearing and didn't get it, and is now trying to overturn this grand jury indictment so that they can go back to the preliminary hearing
Mhm.
and avoid the trial because I think she doesn't think they have enough.
Yep.
I think that is absolutely I think that's it.
Yep.
Um,
And you know what sucks with how our
yeah.
justice system works right now is once we're this far in, okay, let's just look at this situation and assume Bryan's innocent in this idea, okay, in this thought
Mhm.
process. Assume Bryan is completely innocent. He was just driving around because he has a hard time sleeping and he got picked up out of the blue and literally has nothing to do with this. He wasn't trying to pick up drugs. He wasn't trying to make contact with anybody in that area. He was literally driving aimlessly because he couldn't sleep and he has OCD and things like that. And then he gets picked up like this, right? And he's on the way to his doctorate's program and he has an entire year plus, maybe 2 years taken from him. Once they're a year in like this, they're now at risk if they don't convict him of him turning this back around and coming back with a lawsuit. So they're even more bought in to convict him, whether he's really innocent or guilty.
That's a good
You
point.
know what I mean?
Yeah, because imagine the kind of lawsuit that could come at you for this
Oh,
if he's
dude.
innocent.
And be able to bring a lawsuit against multiple people too. Anybody involved that was at the public statements with the police. I don't know if he could come towards the university. I don't know. I don't know everybody because I'm not an attorney, but it's a wild thing to think about.
Yeah.
And hey, what's going on, Twitch streamer? We see you hopping in there. I think we had somebody else on here earlier on Twitch. If you want to take part in the conversation, we don't have our chat up on our screen, but we are chatting away with a couple hundred people on YouTube. If you want to get involved in the conversation. If not, we are going through the Idaho 4 updated cases, the case against Bryan Kohberger in the Idaho massacre. But yeah, welcome, welcome, welcome. I don't know if he's innocent. I have no idea. I don't know if he's guilty. I have no idea. I just know that I don't have enough pieces of this puzzle to give you a straightforward answer of what I think the picture is. So
Yeah, there's no way to know right now. There
so
really
let's
isn't.
focus on the science.
And, Cheryl said they're ignoring the exculpatory evidence right out in the open. And yeah, it seems that way. It really does. Because Ann Taylor's been saying they're withholding it. And we know Bethany didn't go to the grand jury to testify.
Yep.
So is it for real being withheld and ignored out in the open in that way?
I mean, look.
And how is Bill Thompson skating around that?
I don't know. I don't know, but this is giving me flashbacks to Dr. Moore, and we've said this so many times over and over and over and over and over again that it feels like they're playing to the initial conviction, knowing that they're going to get it overturned when they what's it called, on the secondary where they bring it back to court on the appeal. Yeah. ADHD moment there. They're playing to the first conviction, not taking into account the appeal. You know what I mean? Because a thorough investigation and case for a prosecutor is a case that truly convicts with the evidence and doesn't stand a chance when it comes to an appeal.
What? Where did somebody say that, Heather? That would be nuts, wouldn't it?
All right. So, last one here.
All right, go.
We have the temporary order sealing objection to defendant's motion to reconsider, orders denying motions to dismiss indictment, and then in the alternative for permission to appeal from interlocutory orders and stay of proceedings pending hearing. Based upon the state's motion to temporarily seal, objection to defendant's motion to reconsider, orders denying motions to dismiss indictment, and in the alternative for permission to appeal from interlocutory orders and a stay of proceedings pending hearing filed herein, and no objection from the defense counsel. So yeah, this is just the defense counsel agreeing. Yeah. I didn't even need to read all that. But this is just the defense's agreeing to the gag on this. Yeah. And that is all for the updated documents. One thing that I forgot to post on here, though, is our social media that I said from the very beginning that we were going to post all of it. Our Twitter's getting action and growing, you guys, which is awesome because it took a while, because we're on every social media platform at /Thought Riot Podcast. We're on Instagram. We're on Patreon. We're on everything, and we're active on everything at least a few times a week. So make sure you hop on there. And like I said in the beginning of the stream, if you want to make sure you're getting your notifications, the two best places to do that is at patreon.com/Thought Riot Podcast or Discord, you guys. Discord is where the conversation continues, and we continue the investigation in any of the cases that we're covering. We have a couple hundred people, I think, on here now, which is awesome. And I am going to post that invite again now, because if you're on Discord, you already know how it works. If you're not, you've got to have an invite link. All right. You've got to have an invite link to join Discord. It is the secret of all secrets. Okay. It is very exclusive and very private, and it is for the very best thought rioters. So there's the link. Make sure you click on that to join that Discord, you guys.
What is this person like, the Kohberger Nostradamus?
What?
Predicting he'll be released January 27th of 2024.
Yeah. My prediction is March 2024. and my prediction, actually, I'm sorry. So my prediction is February of 2024 through December of 2024.
I mean, I'll look it up, but they said they saw his release date on what though? Like what kind of document?
That's interesting. Oh, like, so they were being serious. They saw it on a document in the jail. Is that what they're saying?
I have no idea.
That's interesting. I will definitely look into that. So, interesting.
Weird.
Yeah, that is
This
super weird.
this summer on the inmate website. Oh, like that he had a set release date? Hmm, strange. Maybe that's some kind of I don't know. Maybe it's some kind of mess up. Or they have to put in something. I don't know. Weird.
Maybe. I'm not sure. That's interesting though. It definitely is interesting. Just imagine you saying that and he's now
Ap-
gonna be released in January. That'd be super strange.
Appealing to the Supreme Court. That's not a quick process though.
I know, but gosh, that would be super strange.
Yeah, it may have been a goof. For real. But it is weird.
It is.
Yeah, Kimberly Moon, when you get to this, I did see that CH referenced a video to me about how you can circle that. And I'll go look at it after the stream. Cuz I thought you couldn't, but maybe I was wrong. So I'll go look and check. You guys very well may be right. Probably are.
Yes, yes. All right, everybody. So I just shared the Spotify link, and that is Thought Riot Podcast, which is our weekly true crime and criminal culture podcast. Right now, you are all on with us on the True Crime Talk Show. And I just sent that link also. If you get a chance, hop on there, check it out. We are also on every podcast platform out there. Our biggest one we're on that we get 90% of our views or more, I would say, is going to be the Apple podcast or international podcast platforms. That's where we usually get a couple 100,000 of views a month, on top of whatever we got going on YouTube. You know what I meant to do, you guys, is one, I always want to give a shout out to the Bryan Kohberger Moscow Reddit. They are absolutely phenomenal. And if you love what we're doing here, you guys, with the open theory and opinion community, where we want people hanging out here that believe he's guilty, and we want people hanging out here that believe he's innocent. We want people that don't know. We want everybody. We want you to feel comfortable to share your opinions. That's what's important at Thought Riot. That's why we are Thought Riot, because we want all theories, all opinions, all ideas, all information. Information is free, and it should be freely shared with everybody. And the only way to do that, to grow our knowledge and community, is by us stepping up, putting our best foot forward, and sharing that information and theory. And the important part here is being respectful enough to receive it, even when you don't agree with it, right? And that's super important. So, and one subreddit on Reddit that is very, very good about that is this subreddit here. They've been phenomenal, unlike a lot of them. So make sure you check them out if you're on Reddit. If you're not on Reddit, I don't suggest you get on Reddit. People are crazy on Reddit, and very echo chamber, must think like me or I'm going to hate on you type community.
Bully you. I
Yeah.
will bully you if you do not think like me.
Yeah, for sure. So if you're not interested in all that, then I don't suggest you get on there. But if you do get on there, join us, add us, follow us. We are /Thought Riot podcast on there as well. So pretty awesome. And yes, Reddit is so unhinged, like insane, dude. So insane.
It used to be a pretty fun place, and there are communities
Used to be
on
free
there.
thinking.
Yeah, there are a lot of communities on there that are still fun, but they're fewer and far between than they used to be.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. But yeah, any closing statements?
No. I mean, I enjoyed talking about this topic tonight and kind of going through it in our Thought Riot fashion and kind of thinking about it and talking about the possibilities. And as always, I love your guys' input and feedback. I'll definitely go check out some of the things you guys suggested. And I hope you guys have a great night and a great Tuesday. We're going to see you again on Wednesday at 9 p.m. Central Time. So be there because it'll be a good time. Do you have any idea what if we're gonna premiere anything on Wednesday?
I mean, I'm trying to finish the video, which is part 2 to yesterday's video, which goes deeper into the subjective and objective topics and really how people in general are looking at the Idaho 4 case and other cases in that scientific nature. And everything. So I'm trying to get that done.
Okay.
That's the attempt. But yes. Oh my gosh, you guys, what am I doing with my life? I didn't even put on chapstick once. I'm letting you guys down.
Hey, thanks. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
Hope you're not too lonely over there on Twitch.
We have a few people. We have a growing community on Twitch, and if you ever want to join like the bulk of the conversation, we always got a couple hundred people on YouTube chatting it up and everything while we're ranting or bantering back and forth. But we love everybody on Twitch. We appreciate you, and you are awesome for being here and hanging out with us. So we appreciate that. And I have to do my daily chapstick for everyone because I swear, like, man, the viewers, all of you watchers out there get so mad at me when I don't put on.
Yeah, Discord's like a chat room. That's exactly what it's like. Chap sticker gate.
Yeah.
Chap hot dog gate.
Yes. Cilantro gate.
Cilantro chap. Wait, no. Hot dog. Wait, no. Chap cilantro hot dog sticker gate.
Cilantro dog gate.
Cilantro hot dog gate.
Cilantro dog gate.
There's no chap.
Cilantro cilantro dog stick gate.
Okay. You know what we should call our Patreon?
I am using bees meat or Burt's Bees.
You know what we should call our Patreon and membership? Theta Rho Pi Fraternity.
We should. For TRP, yep.
Anybody who's like a member is part of Theta Rho Pi.
Or
fraternity.
We need to make our new logo a fraternity
looking logo
for its new logo. You guys haven't seen it yet. You'll see it soon. So gosh, I want to show everyone the new layout, you guys. It's like straight up set, like amazing. It's cool. It's cool.
He uses Burt's Bees pretty much exclusively.
Yeah, I don't like the addictive chapsticks. They make your lips hurt, man.
Burt's Bees literally is the best. Anything that has like shea butter, beeswax, those are the good ones.
Yeah, and I'm the worst with my lips too, where if I have peeling, it's coming off. Like it is coming off. Oh, you know how cool it would be to sell chapstick? I wish I was a chapstick salesman.
You should sell hot dog costumes as merch.
No. Oh, that's funny. That's super funny. We need a hot dog t-shirt.
Yeah, you're clearly addicted
Mhm.
to chapstick.
Well, we just have one thing that we have to complete, really. Now that we got that settled,
Hot dog chapstick. Yes.
ooh, Thought Riot Podcast hot dog flavored chapstick.
Not flavored.
Why?
It just looks like a hot dog in the tube. Would you wanna put hot dog flavored chapstick on your lips?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think that might be a good idea too. So instead of like a chapstick stick, it needs to be a chapstick stick in a hot dog bun, and you apply it like
No.
what? Yeah. Yes, you would
That's
just
not what we're
apply
talking
it
about.
horizontal, like it actually sounds really convenient because you're applying chapstick on your whole lip at once.
Conforms to it's ergonomic chapstick.
Yeah, it's hot dog
Fits
shaped
Fits
chapstick.
the definition of your lips, the shape of your lips.
It's hot dog shaped chapstick for your ergonomic pleasure.
What?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, you guys, we appreciate all of you.
Oh, cilantro
and
flavored.
you and
Yeah.
you and you. This is Thought Riot Podcast, the true crime talk show. My name is Brendan.
I'm Malia. Thanks for joining the show tonight.
Yes,
we appreciate
thank you all.
Appreciate members, subscribers. Love you all. Have a wonderful night and a wonderful Tuesday. See you Wednesday.
We appreciate you all. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.